Our water connection acknowledges the traditional custodians of the land throughout Australia and their connection to country, sky, water, and community. We extend our respect to the traditional custodians of the place where you are listening. This episode is recorded in Ghana country. Can technology really help us tackling challenges like water scarcity and extreme weather? What happens with data when data and water operations come together? Does AI replace operators or make their work smarter? My name is Jess Bordikis. I'm on a mission to increase your water curiosity, and this is our Water Connection. Welcome to this new episode. Today, we will dive into the future of water operations, and we will explore a little bit on how AI or artificial intelligence can enhance our way to operate water systems, water treatment plants, and water infrastructure. To talk about this, I'm joined today by Zdravka Doquang. Zdravka is the Global Innovation Officer at SUEZ. She has 30 years of experience in different management positions in research and innovation, knowledge transfer, technical and business support within SUEZ, which is an international water and environmental company. With a background in chemical engineering and a PhD in water treatment processes and technology, Zdravka has expertise in multiple fields, including water quality, analysis and sensors, data analytics, water and wastewater treatment, and water reuse, and many other areas. She's very passionate about scientific communication, and she's a member of multiple international working groups and scientific committees. Welcome to our Water Connection, Zdravka.
Hi, Jess. Thank you for the invitation.
No, it's good. Thank you very much for having us and for starting an early morning with us as well. Until we get into the role of AI and all of these, we were thinking, can you paint us a picture, very general, I know very different sites will behave differently, of how is water infrastructure typically operated? How does that work, a water treatment plant or something like this? How does that normally work?
Well, water infrastructure is a combination of manual human operators' labor and advanced technologies such as plants, equipment, processes, and of course they are operated differently according to the countries, to the state of the infrastructure, the location, also the available water resources. And typically we take water from the water resources, whether it is rivers, lakes, groundwater. Then we pump the water in through the plants equipped with different treatment technologies, conventional or more advanced like membranes, UV disinfection, and so on. Once the water is treated, it goes to the water distribution system, a combination of pipes, goes to your homes or to the industrial factories where it is used. After that, the waste water is collected, sent to a different infrastructure, underground infrastructure, what we call the sewers system, and then is sent to the wastewater treatment plants, which are different from the water production plants, and is then treated to remove all the organic pollution, the carbon, the nitrogen, phosphorus, before it goes back to the rivers or to the water bodies.
That was an excellent summary.
Yeah, on all this is a combination of operators that are looking after these facilities, equipments, to maintain them, to prevent the failures, and also using automatic systems to control the water quality, because we are under very stringent regulatory constraints. And also we are assisted by a lot of sensors and softwares to help the water treatment operators in their everyday life as an aid decision tools and to facilitate their work.
Yeah, that's wonderful. That was first a really good summary of how water gets into your house and gets out of your house. So thank you very much for giving us that. And yeah, also like that was kind of my second question, which is already covered, which is like, yes, part of it is in automated things, which might require a lot of sensors. And we also have a part that of course is manual and is very important for our operators to be there to make sure that the systems work correctly and we prevent any damage. What do you think at the moment are some of the biggest operational challenges that water utilities will have, or plant operators will face daily?
Well, there's a lot. Of course, today the water treatment operators are facing different challenges, which are of course, the climate change, the exposure to these extreme events like floods, droughts. As I said, very stringent regulation requiring very safe and high water quality, the cybersecurity issues. But for me, the main specific operational challenges for the water industry are three. The first one is the management of the water resource availability to provide a water supply, efficient water supply to our customers in the situation where there's a lot of variability. Sometimes we have a huge storm, sometimes we have a lack of water scarcity. So we have to constantly adapt the water production schemes to the water demand. The second one is the changes in the raw water quality and the variability of the seasonal weather variability and the climate change, of course, that will impact the raw water quality by creating some pollution effects or some high concentration of algae or other pollutants that makes more difficult to treat the water to the required standards. And the third one is, well, the water industry is quite old industry, and we are faced to what we call the aging infrastructure. So we have to continuously renew our equipments, our networks, our plants to be able to prevent the failures and to renew this and to modernize these facilities to keep our up-to-date level of efficiency.
Yeah, again, that's a really good summary of like many different aspects of the industry that is challenging. And of course, all of those reflect in the operation. So, how do operators at the moment deal with these challenges when they might have to do like a lot of manual? If we take, for example, the changes in the water source quality, right? So I imagine I'm by no means a treatment expert here, but I would imagine they have to tweak kind of what they do in the plant all the time to accommodate to that. Is that part of what that obstacle and those challenges will be for operators?
Well, the water sector is maybe not the one which is the best automated one compared to some other industries like the car manufacturing industry, the logistics, chemical industry, and so on. But we have, to a certain extent, a good level of automation, and which will depend, of course, on the specific system, on the locations, on the countries where we operate. And for example, the automation is based on an online physical measurement with sensors, like we constantly measure the water flow, the concentration of the different pollutants or chemicals in the water. And then we correlate this online measurement to a model which will translate this signal in an aid decision tool and help the operator to perform the required action on the equipment, on the pumps, on the valves. And in some cases, we have quite advanced technologies and treatments like the membrane, which can be a completely black box, completely automated,
Yeah.
which operates more or less in autonomous way. But we have also a very conventional basic treatments like settling, filtration tanks, where the level of automation maybe is more moderate but all these are basically managed by what we call a SCADA system, the scattered data operation system, where
Yeah.
all the monitoring is collected, gathered, and supervised by the operators. We have also what we call the GIS, the Geographical Information System, which will help us to map our infrastructure, the distribution networks, the plants. We have also to communicate with our customers metering systems, what we call advanced metering and smart metering, which allows to send data to our customers for the metering to measure their water consumption. And so all these technology advances have been built over the past 3 decades with the help of a lot of sensors and IoT devices. And we have been already in the early age of artificial intelligence by developing our first neural networks to pilot our chemical dosing in the plants, or some cleaning operations, and to optimize the plant operators' efficiency and productivity.
Yeah, for sure. It's really good to see kind of all the technologies that, as you say, they have been like produced and like implemented and perfected over 30 years. And then we have this thing, which is the main thing we want to talk today, which is artificial intelligence, right? And like it's becoming part of our daily lives. And I thought when we had this chat the other day before we recorded, that was a really good angle for us to dig in a little bit. And you have started already sharing some of those examples now. But yeah, could you maybe, and I know this depends on every side, like every country, every city, every water utility will be different. But I know SUEZ is a pioneer in that. So it's really interesting to have a chat with you where you may be able to walk us through an example of how AI can help, yeah, water production treatment, for example, just to start with.
Thank you for saying that SUEZ is a pioneer in this, maybe for the water treatment, but we
Yes.
are not maybe the most advanced. There have been huge other companies that are investing in AI massively over the past years, and we are on our journey. As I said, we have been on this journey for some time now, but we have increased our intensity of research and innovation in the field of GenAI, the generative AI, which is
Yep.
today the boom, and which really will help us to improve our efficiency, effectiveness, enable our more proactive management, to anticipate the things, to help the operators prevent the problems before they occur, rather than react.
Just react
And
to it.
it's
Yep.
really AI can provide today valuable insights and to bring the automation to a next level. And it's really to ensure that the water systems are operated correctly, and to help the operators take decisions in a very complex or unexpected situation. As I said, the water plant operation are facing every day very different situations, sometimes inedited, unexpected situation with the climate change. And we have to adapt to this physical environment. And for example, to give some examples, for example, in the water treatment, AI can help us to optimize the treatment processes by predicting the right dose and the right mix of chemicals to be put in the system to get to the right level of water quality required by, of course, by the regulation, but also required by our customers. AI will take all the data, because the fuel for the AI today is the data. And the
That's
data,
right.
we need to get it from, as I said, the online sensors, the IoT devices. And the more you have a good and clean data set, the best is your AI model predictions.
Going to perform, yeah.
For example, in the water distribution sector, we have been using this to find the leaks, because we have a very stringent obligations for reduction of our water leaks, and having water conservation. And using this combination of pressure devices, which help us to better optimize the pressure management in the networks, to find the leaks, and then to prevent and to repair them. We also use a lot of AI algorithms, getting data from the flow meters, from the pressure sensors from the acoustic loggers and identify the leaks. And so these are just few examples, but we
Yes.
have in each of the steps throughout this water supply and water treatment system the appropriate model and tool using AI to help us better perform our services.
Yeah, I think once again, you just did a perfect summary of like many different examples, because you had mentioned the artificial neural networks for like determining the mixing of the chemicals, but then you went also into the distribution one. Just to throw something there, my PhD was actually in leak detection using machine learning. So I did work on that as well. So it's a massive challenge because it's such a complex system. We were looking at it from a different perspective using pressure transients and things that I won't board our audience with because it's pretty technical. But no, it's wonderful to see examples that are really working in the industry, different to maybe some of the stuff that I've done in research that were a little bit kind of forming the state of the knowledge in that sense. You mentioned it already, Zdravka, before, but like, and I'm asking this question because it's one of the things that gets asked the most when we talk about AI, not only in the water industry, in absolutely everything, is the AI is going to take my job, AI is going to replace my job. I actually did a talk for a school maybe a couple of weeks ago on AI in the water sector. And I asked the teachers like what they think about AI, and they said, replace my job, take my job. And I spent 40 minutes trying to convince them that that's not the case. But I want to hear your take on this as well. Do you think AI means like using AI in the water sector means replacing our human operators, or is it actually going to support them?
A big question. Of course, each technological revolution brings its advantages, but also creates some anxiety. And AI is maybe what we call the fourth technological revolution, and some of the people say that it will be the last one. It depends. But this anxiety coming from the fact that AI is developing at a speed and growth. It is so huge that nobody has been faced to this before in the past and prepared. And this is what creates this fear. The main fear is that with AI, there is a trend to distrust the humans by entrusting the algorithms. And
Okay.
this is, well, people say, yeah, the machine will replace me. Because the fact is that one job out of the 10 will be impacted by AI, but it's more the jobs that are maybe of a lower added value, which can be easily automated. But there will be one job out of 2 which will be concerned by interaction with AI every day to augment us. We speak about augmented employees, and to help us be more efficient, be more productive, and free our minds and time for the tasks that are of a higher added value. So it is. So once again, to repeat, AI can provide many benefits. It is important to remember that it is still a tool that will assist the human operators, and we have to always take control and keep control on this. And it's not meant to replace humans. Even if today, well, the next stage of AI that we are speaking today in 2025 is the arrival of what we call the agents, AI agents, which
Uh-huh.
are typically algorithms that are able to react as a human, to have a reason, even sometimes some emotional intelligence, and act as your assistant, like organizing your agenda, preparing a travel, converting speech to text in different languages, preparing a synthetic report. I'm sure every day you and other people are using AI to organize your vacation, to organize your planning a trip, and it is really very beneficial. So humans will need to adopt AI and handle it and keep control, but it will not replace the human until we keep control on this. But yes, it is going very, very fast, and sometimes for the more senior and the older generation, it can be sometimes a little bit anxious.
Yeah, it can be daunting. And I think you point out like it just has happened so quickly that it's hard to kind of see where it will go. Like we probably don't know where this is going. But you raise an important point here, and then you mentioned it before on how we could use AI and Gen AI in this case for providing advice to the operators when they have a problem. I had never really thought about it, or actually trying to prevent the problem in the first place, because there's so much information out there that we might have a very experienced operator, but like there's something always that they could have research or read, but there's not time for that, or like ways that they can even access that information. So having something that is kind of your advisor there is not making the decisions, because I think especially in a critical industry such as water, probably we do want to keep control of it, of course, and like make sure that we use it as a tool to enhance our thing, and maybe drop the things that we don't want to do, because who wants to be typing stuff in a spreadsheet for like days and days, which we all have done at some point. And yes, you say I use it a lot for the stuff that I use for these podcasts, because this is separate to my main job. I need to make it as efficient as possible, and I do it at least to start writing things and start producing content. So it's definitely a tool to enhance it. Zdravka, what are the main challenges or the biggest challenges that you think from your experience in Suez that are in adopting AI in the water sector?
Well, the main challenges, they are basically of two families or two types. For me, the first one is, of course, the technical challenge. As I said in the beginning, the power and the fuel of AI is data. And so we have to keep an eye and be sure that we have data sets of good quality, enough data, and also, of course, the infrastructure that goes with this data, like the sensors, the digital infrastructure, and sometimes the water utilities are under-equipped because it costs some money, and investments are not always there. And in particular, in some countries, it can be a challenge. There's another issue when speaking about the technical challenges is about cybersecurity. We become more
Yes.
vulnerable when everything goes, and even in our everyday life, when you start putting all the information on the social networks,
Mm.
on these digital environments, you become more vulnerable if someone takes control of it. So the technical challenges are really, for me, the main issue.
Yeah.
But there's also some cultural challenges, as I said, adopting AI, and there's a shift, if I can say, a sort of a revolution. In the past, usually the more senior generations were teaching the younger generation how to use the things and how to get the knowledge.
Mm.
Today, with AI, is the reverse. It's
It's
the
the
younger
opposite.
generation which is more adopted and grown in this AI environment since the very early age, that are teaching and transferring the knowledge to the more senior.
To the
My
older,
children
yes.
are doing all the digital stuff for me when it becomes a little bit more complex. And also in these cultural changes, we can have resistance to change, and we are lacking the skills. So it's very important that everyone has this willingness to learn about AI, about using these tools, not maybe to code and to go to prompts, because tomorrow we will have agents that will do for us this even better. But at
Yes.
least to get the knowledge and be curious about how this technology will help us to be better. And then maybe not to forget the third challenge, especially in European countries, is a big issue, is the regulation. We have a standard, an ISO norm for AI. And we have to be very careful about how to use these tools from the ethics point of view, from, as I said, safety and cybersecurity. So the regulatory compliances and the privacy is is a big challenge as well.
Yeah. And honestly, of the three types that you mentioned, the technical, cultural, and regulatory, I think probably the technical is like the one that is more direct. And that happens with other things. Like with all the challenges that we have, the technical part can be solved. It's all the other stuff that just makes it a lot harder. And like in this, I see the same because like how do we really shift that culture? And you're giving a suggestion, which is like really embodying people to really get the feet into like just touching it and using it for something very simple. And that was something I was telling the teachers the other day as well. I was showing them how I use it all the time. And he was like, oh, I never thought it was that easy or I could use it for these very simple thing. But that breaks a little bit that barrier. And for sure the regulatory one is something that I don't know, maybe it needs to be moves a little bit faster with the technologies, but this is my uneducated opinion about it. That sometimes they can stay a little bit in the past dealing with this. So yeah, I think those challenges are really, really key. I want to like finish some of the other questions on more of like a positive thing. What role do you think AI will play in all the challenges that we have? And you mentioned them at the beginning, such as adapting to climate change or extreme weather events. How do you see AI helping us in that part?
Well, the expectations are very high in what AI could bring to us in terms of helping us to reduce and optimize our water consumption, because water is becoming really a new big challenge for everywhere in the world, with the water scarcity, with the droughts and the floods, these extreme weather conditions. It also can help us to better reduce our greenhouse gas emissions footprint. It can help us to better do what we call a vulnerability assessment of our infrastructures, and to get us better adapt to these changes. For example, by forecasting the extreme events with these predictive models, predictive analytics, because we have built this historical data set, because we have done this climate models. It can help us to better see the future and predict the future quite accurately, more in
Yeah.
a more reliable way, and
Yeah.
to get prepared for these extreme events. As I said, to optimize our water consumption and water use, reduce the leaks in the distribution system, and better plan the use of the available water resources. When you have a surface water or groundwater resource, how to combine this and how to use one or the another. So yeah, and how to react in unexpected, unusual situations, crisis events, crisis
Yeah.
situation in case of some big disasters in a very efficient way. So like having a scenario of you have to do this. Yeah.
No, I think that's great. Like just helping us in making efficient, but also helping us predict in the future. I think that's a really good point because there's a lot of uncertainty that is coming at us. Stravka, what is one development, and this could be one of the things SUEZ is working on or something you have heard about. What is one development in AI in the water sector that you are like super excited about?
Well, I said is the development of these AI agents. We start to see them coming through our also services that we use. Microsoft is developing a lot on the single agents, even the orchestration of multiple AI agents that will help us today, maybe in our everyday personal work rather in the professional
Professional side, yeah.
environment. We are not
That's
yet
great.
there in our sector, in our company. But I think it's coming so fast that we will have to integrate this.
Jump
But we
into
see
that as
this in
well.
yeah, in the other
Ah,
parts of the
yeah,
everyday life.
and it's what we were talking about. It just developed so fast that I can imagine. I mean, you are the chief innovation officer of SUEZ, then like it just everything moves so fast, so you would have to keep up with a lot of stuff. So it's okay, like if you don't have the agents just yet, but like continue the good work and like yeah, SUEZ has a great reputation like in technology deployment within the water industry. This episode is proudly supported by the Chris Davies AM Fellowship, an initiative of the Australian Water Association. His legacy lives on through this fellowship, empowering efforts to keep his passion for innovation and community impact alive. We're honored to have the support of this fellowship this season too, as we continue to share stories that connect us all to water. Now, back to the episode. Zdravka, how would you explain your work? If you have a friend that knows nothing about this sector, how would you explain your work to them?
As an innovation officer, my main role in the company is, of course, to connect all the people, the operators from the very, I would say, field operation, bring them to this, have this culture of innovation, of improvement, and to seek to get out of their comfort zone and think out of the box and bring more ideas to bottom up in the company to help us improve our jobs. At the same time, define more top down with the corporate strategy. What are the main areas and priorities for a company to do research and innovation in? So this connecting these two
These two
parts
approaches,
of
yeah.
communities, yes, in the throughout the companies, is also to make sure that our investments in research and innovation are aligned and adequate to our main business targets,
Yeah.
challenges, in order to provide our better service to our customers, and to constantly be aware of what is new outside. So
Yeah.
working in an open innovation, I would say, mode with a lot of startups. So scouting which are the best partners
Yeah.
to work with. So it's basically being like a connector with the internal company, SUEZ world, and the outside
And look
world,
outside.
and fueling our internal employees with what is there's outside, and taking the benefits
Yeah.
for our company.
Yeah, that's lovely. I like that definition, like the connector of ideas and like connecting people and making things like new things happen. That's very exciting. What, Zdravka, what would be your message to young water professionals who might be listening to this conversation right now?
Well, this conversation was mainly about AI, so there's a lot of messages that we can deliver. But to stay on the scope of the conversation, for me, AI is really the most significant industrial revolution of the modern society. So you need to if you are not already there, but you need to train and to adopt the skills of AI, to use it, because it's really today, speaking about connecting people and connecting environments, is the maybe the technology that allows to connect the two worlds, the one of the engineers and the engineering sciences, and the one of the social sciences, which
That's
in the
true.
past were quite opposite. But because
Yeah.
AI allows to structure, to model the knowledge, and to interact in a very, I would say, user-friendly way, it becomes part of your life. And yes, the young generation should adopt it and maybe become an AI champions before they become engineers or whatever other careers.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's a great message. Yeah, no, thank you for sharing that. And to wrap up our episode, Zdravka, why do you work in the water sector?
Because water is life, and because it brings the essential for living. Because water is our future, is our health, is the survival of the society. It's beyond the medical experts and the doctors that takes care of our health. Maybe water is the water treatment, the access to safe water is the most important goal of the humanity.
See, I love asking this question because all my guests just light up. They just light up straight away, explaining why they work, and I light up with them as well. So, Zdravka, thank you very much for sharing that those wonderful reflections around operations. You know, explaining how actually our systems operate in a very quick but good way, and then seeing different examples and seeing exactly what AI could become for the sector. I think it's amazing to have had the chance to have a conversation with you again because we know Suez is one of the companies that is right there really pushing to actually this happening, and that's exactly what we need in my opinion, coming from someone that it's also did some research in that. So thank you very much for joining us today.
And thank you for this very inspiring and interesting interaction. Bye
Oh, so
bye.
good. Thanks. That's today. All for today in our water connection. Thank you for listening and for being part of our community. Remember that your voice matter to us. So if you have any feedback, any question, or any topic that you want this podcast to cover, click on the link that says send us a message and let us know. Please share it as well. Like if you have people that are interested in AI within the industry, share these conversation. We would love to hear your thoughts. Don't forget to follow us on your favorite podcast platform and social media for any updates and highlights coming to you. Keep your curiosity flowing, and I'll see you next time.